Dr. Mead?
Number 7, action items. Are there any agenda items on this agenda which board members or the superintendent wish to discuss and vote on separately? If there are, we will exclude these from the motion below.
Anybody have anything? We don't have anything that requires a roll call. No. We do have numbers 1 through 10 at your desk. Is operations just brought in something for an RFP for on the bond? So. Okay, so everybody's seen that? Okay, Go ahead, Dr. Mead.
So at this time, the Secretary will call for a single motion to approve all of the action items on this agenda, with the from this motion. But okay, so recommended action. Move that action items numbered 1 through 10 be approved as recommended in this agenda, with period.
So moved. Support.
Okay. Does anybody want to dissent from this, or is this a unanimous vote?
Unanimous.
Okay, it's unanimous. Great.
So at this time, the Secretary will read a summary of the action items that were just approved. Item 1, approval of warrants. Number 2, approval of award to Steinway Piano Gallery. Number 3 through 6, approval of non-instructional and instructional personnel items for P through 12. Number 7, approval of financial statement. Number 8, approval of appointment of supervisor of transportation. Number 9, approval of donations. Number 10, approval of orders and purchases, contract to Eagle Services for construction. Okay.
Good. Before you go on,
yes.
Dr. Maleko wants to make an introduction.
So we've had a vacancy in the Transportation Department when Mr. Mark Andrews got promoted as the Director of Transportation. We've been looking for a supervisor, and since March actually of 16, and we're so happy that we were able to find someone that's been working for us for many years. I believe he started in '88. And so I'd like to call up Mr. Patrick O'Reilly, who's the new Supervisor of Transportation, to the podium, and I'd like to congratulate him for his appointment. And he's been patiently waiting.
I'd like to thank President Lane, Dr. Maleko, the board. It's a great opportunity. I'm really looking forward to working in transportation. It's kind of a homecoming for me. It's where I started a long time ago. I'd like to thank Mr. Wall, Mr. Cederlin, Mr. Andrews on the selection committee, and a real good thanks to Ms. Ruth Bankhead and Mr. Don Ball. So thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good luck. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Next item.
Number 8, discussion item. There are none.
Okay.
Number 9, Board of Education business. A, acknowledgement of correspondence.
Just a holiday letter from
DFT.
DFT, and certainly happy holidays to all of them as well, and the community for that matter.
Anything else?
Okay.
B, board member committee and organization reports.
No committees met.
C, board member superintendent commentary.
Trustee McDonald.
I have just a couple things. First of all, I have served on the Wayne County Association of School Boards as our Dearborn representative since Trustee Adams left. And I think it's very important that Dearborn does have a representative on that board. So I just want to make sure that when the new board's in place and you figure out positions, I just want to encourage you to have someone to volunteer or fill in for that, because it is important, and it's always good that we have good communications with RISA and know what's going on in the county. So I think that's important, and I just wanted to remind you that that position will be
And thank you for doing
vacated.
that. You took that over from Trustee Adams, and yeah, there's a lot of things that all of us do to keep our whole board informed. When one of us goes out, we bring back information, and it's really appreciated. You didn't have to do that, and we really owe you a thanks for that. Thank you very much.
And the other thing, real quickly, I just want to thank all the board members, past and present. Thinking back on it, I think I've worked with a dozen different board members, and I've learned something from each and every one of you. I've built friendships and good relationships with all of you, and I'm going to miss my time here on the board. I keep getting asked, what does the future hold? And while the immediate future is I'm going to bake a lot of cookies and decorate and spend some time with my family, I will stay active in the community, because this community is in my heart, deep and ingrained in my heart. And again, I just want to thank the entire district, the superintendent, our state superintendent, Brian, and everyone. Our district has so many professionals on every level. I mean, from the janitors to the kitchen staff, the teachers, the instructors, parapros, administration, and they all do such a fantastic job with passion in their heart for this community. And it has been my great honor and pleasure to work with them and work with all of you and to represent our community on this board. So thank you, everyone, for your support.
Yeah.
Trustee Petchilkoff?
Dr. Mead, myself, and Dr. Maleko, for a very short period, were at a college conference at Henryford College earlier in this week, and we had Barb McQuaid, the local U.S. Attorney General, and somebody from the DEA and somebody from the FBI and our own local police force, along with a variety of community members and educators there with a presentation on opiate drug use. And at the end of a kind of longer video than I had anticipated, we did have a discussion period. By then, Dr. Maleko had to leave. So one of the questions that was asked, and so I spoke on behalf of the school district, because they were unaware of the relationship of a P14 district. And so they thought they were only talking to college representatives. And so I made them aware of the fact that we really represented a broader audience with our student population. And they were delighted to hear that because, quite frankly, they have been trying, the DEA and the FBI and everybody have been trying to figure out ways to connect with the school communities on a broader basis. And so the fact that we are a P14 district was positive for them, a plus of finding a way to have us develop a more cohesive program in the schools to educate our students, you know, and we can't start at college age student. I mean, this really has to be something that we plan and formulate with our generational students. From elementary on up, the conversation has to be begun just like any other education program. So I just wanted to bring it forward to you. I will be suggesting actually to the Healthy Dearborn Coalition that this might be something that the school committee wants to take on as well as part of their educational packaging. But I just wanted to make sure that we all started to kind of put on our thinking caps of what we could develop as well that would span the age groups in this very difficult times of drug abuse.
Actually, somebody approached me about that kind of bringing in some type of program and seeing how they can work with the Dearborn Public Schools, and they had indicated, wanting to formulate something more, kind of down on paper.
Right.
And then once they were ready, they asked if they could approach, and I said, yeah, our district is willing and ready to talk.
Yeah, there's been a lot of meetings, a lot of conferences throughout the city by a variety of groups. Access has had them, and other organizations, the churches and whatever. Everybody's been kind of jumping on board with this issue right now. So I think it's something that we really need to start paying attention to. I don't think we've ever had a real formalized, it's not like our sex education class or gym class or any of the health classes or any of that kind of stuff. I don't know that we've ever.
There used to be DARE.
Yeah.
We've had some groups, though, that are partnering with us, with Mr. Mashur and Ms. Charles,
Right.
Through the LAHC, Lebanese Heritage Access, and then we did get approached by another organization, this past weekend, another organization, and then I know the college recently got a grant as well, so we're going to be partnering with
So
them.
yeah,
with Dr.
we just need to
Jensen.
make sure that we're all on the same page and working, to put something together that's sustainable.
Trustee Bezzi, you look like you wanted to say something.
On the next.
Oh, okay.
thing.
We're on commentary right now, so you're waiting for the next.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr.
I have
Maleko.
commentary, a couple things. First of all, just wanted to mention Stout has a theater company presentation performance this week on December 15th and 16th at 7 p.m. I went last year. I think some of the trustees here were here. I know Roxanne and Trustee Bazzi, so that I plan to, I can't stay for the whole event because I have 2 events that night, but I will be stopping by. I just wanted to promote that. Also want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. You know, the last day for school is the 23rd, and then students return on the 9th, so it's actually a long period this year. And so I just wanted to wish all the board, all the people here, and all the community, parents, our staff, a happy holiday, and I do plan to send out an announcement on the blog as well. I also just wanted to take a moment, and President Lane and I talked about this last week when we were planning for the agenda. I did get contacted by District Administrator, that's a national superintendent organization, about the feelings of the appointment of Secretary of Education Marianne DeVos. So rather than me just saying my own commentary, I'm just going to read the statement that was sent, to the group. And they're a group that we're partnered with on a lot of different areas, and I've attended their national conference a couple times. So I'll just read it. Many superintendents, especially in Michigan, are familiar with Mrs. DeVos's efforts to create more educational options for parents through the expansion of charter schools and vouchers. I believe the biggest misconception is that those of us working in public education are against these type of efforts because we fear competition and change. On the contrary, we don't fear competition, we encourage it. We know the educational opportunities and the variety of options we offer our students will stack up against any private, charter, or parochial school as long as everyone is held to the same accountability, to the same standards and measures. Our fear as educators who have actually spent time in the classroom as teachers, served as principals, or worked as administrators in central office is that public tax dollars will be drained from the schools that need it most and funneled to charter schools or a voucher program in an effort to give the illusion that these options will meet educational needs of students. Real educators know that there's no one silver bullet to fix all the challenges we face in education today. Student success comes from local school districts are provided with the financial and human resources needed to work with their communities to continue to improve instruction and meet the educational needs of each child. So we will continue to do that in Dearborn, and that is a statement I sent to that national group. Thank you.
I wanted to comment on that also. There's obviously a new cabinet being put together, and we've all heard that Betsy DeVos has been nominated to be Secretary of Education. I want to say this about that. I haven't been at as many events because I'm working on some research and writing on a specific town in Massachusetts. So I've read many town meetings and the history of this town of Northampton, Massachusetts. And going back to the 1690s, the town of Massachusetts, or the town of Northampton, voted to tax itself for public schools. Public education in the United States is hundreds of years old. It's a public good that we as citizens for generations have valued and decided that we would give up from ourselves for our youth. Going back even further, there was training, apprenticeship, so that people could master certain skills. I don't want somebody, a first-year resident or somebody who hasn't even studied medicine doing brain surgery on me. I want someone who knows what they're doing. We have someone who's been nominated to head an entire federal department of thousands of employees overseeing billions of dollars, who has never attended public schools. Her children do not attend public schools. We know, because we're here, we value public education. Public education, public schools have produced 90% of the educated population in the United States. That's going to continue, even with vouchers. Vouchers have not changed that percentage very much over the last 30 years. And it's not going to change because public education works, and because most people value public education, and we support it. And we produce a product, educated, productive citizens, that's built the United States into a great country. I don't want to see our public resources sold off for private profit taking. And there should be, I want, for my part as a citizen, I want someone who values public education and who will support public education, will not destroy public education. The public good is something really valuable. It's what really created our country. So I think all of us will have to watch very carefully in the future. Dr. Maleko's already talked about things that the Michigan legislature wants to change without careful reflection and consideration. There were proposed changes to police and fire and teacher retirements. We can't fall asleep now and let things that we built over decades be taken away. It has to be the public good, the greatest good for the greatest number of people, not for private profit-taking, that's excessive profit-taking that we've seen with drug companies. We need to be vigilant. We need to make sure that public education continues as a birthright of every child in the United States. We can't have laws passed in lame duck sessions that are going to harm the public good. So we know that there are a couple. There's the electrical, there's the teacher retirement. I do know the former mayor who passed away about 10 years ago said, if I get one note from one citizen, I know that there are 10 other people who are thinking the same thing. So I would ask everyone to, if you value public education and public good, please be vigilant and make one phone call, one email, one letter to someone saying, I don't want this. I want preservation of our civilization. So I hope people will do that. I hope everyone will have a great holiday, but think about those things that we all value and that we've worked very hard to build. So that being said, I do want to also wish everybody really great holidays. I want to remind you that I want to give a pitch besides some of the other holiday things coming up. We will have Fred Korematsu Day, which will be celebrated in February, that our students are working on, which is going to be a reminder. It'll be at Fordson High School in the evening. It'll be a reminder of how far we've come on civil rights. And no community should be more interested in Korematsu Day than the Dearborn community, because the Japanese Americans were interned, and it was a great historic wrong. So Korematsu Day is to remind everyone of the civil rights that people have fought for over a long period of time too. So I'm very proud of our district. These are great things that we're doing, and we have to support them. So that's my commentary tonight. Thanks for your consideration of these things. So happy holidays to everybody.
Well stated.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Dr.
Item
Mead.
D, request for information and/or future agenda items.
Now,
So
Desi.
I had a request. I get approached all the time, and I'm sure the other trustees do too, about students who have graduated, gone on to college or in their careers, and are asking about a specific teacher. And like recently I was asked about if I could find where Miss Moore is, a language arts teacher that this one student had in the 7th grade in 1994 and 1995 from O.L. Smith. But apparently she was his language arts teacher, recognized that he needed to be more challenged in math, went to a math teacher and set him on the road that eventually led to him being in the career he's in. And so I get asked all the time, how can I reconnect so I can tell these people thank you? Because when you're in the 7th grade, you don't appreciate that path that teacher has put you on. And I don't know what we could do as a district, or maybe the Federation of Teachers, Dearborn Federation of Teachers can do something, but it would be really nice if there was some type of mechanism in place that would allow students to just send back a thank you, say you made a difference. I think that that acknowledgement of that and that understanding of that. And
Like a
The
message
25
board.
plus club
Yeah,
might
the
be able
25
to,
plus club might be able to find the teacher.
right, or connect or do something to
But
send
a
them
message
out.
board,
is
might be
like
good
Yeah,
too.
that's what I was going to say.
Because,
Could we?
yeah.
Is it possible that there could be some type of maybe a
Well,
message
did
for
Mr.
maybe
Patterson
something?
leave, or is he sitting in the back there playing with his technology?
He's playing with his
See, look,
technology.
he's so absorbed in his technology, he doesn't even realize we're talking about him. Mr. Wall's going to have to go wake him up.
What?
What about a message board?
Yeah, we
so-
could do something for
Yeah, maybe
testimonials.
we
If
can.
we wanted to get it to a specific teacher, it would depend on whether or not they wanted to stay active with us, because sometimes people are, and so we could always forward things if we had information, but we don't always. Once they leave, the 25 Plus Club does try to keep a database, and they work with our HR department. But sometimes we have outdated information if people have moved out of the state or they're retired, or sometimes they don't want to be,
Or maybe
so
if there
but
could be an email, like if the 25 Plus Club, maybe there's like
They
an
would be the
email
best.
link that somebody can maybe email them, and hopefully get
But
information.
I
mean,
think
just
a message board, I don't know whether Mr. Patterson thinks it's, I know that they'd have them on certain other websites, and
Yeah.
people can post up comments, and then you normally have to have a moderator for that.
yeah. So
you can look at
Well,
that.
something
Look at-
to
look at
think
David.
about. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Give me 10 more, please.
Okay, all right. Well, something we'll be thinking about in the future. Yeah. Okay, any other requests?
Item 10, future meeting dates. A, Monday, December 19th, 2016, HFC meeting, 7 o'clock p.m. at the Andrew Mazzara Services and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom, Henry Ford College. B, Monday, January 9th, 2017, P through 12 organizational meeting, 6:45 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. C, Monday, January 9th, 2017, P through 12 Board of Education meeting, 7 o'clock p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. D, Monday, January 17th, 2017, HFC meeting, 7 o'clock p.m. at the Andrew Mazzara Service and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom, Henry Ford College.
God bless us all, everyone. Happy holidays, and this meeting is adjourned.